Welcome to the hobby shop. My name is Ali and we're gonna get into some gadgets today. So you guys all know that I'm into fitness and working out and making myself a better person. But you guys didn't know that I also suffer from asthma. I wheeze a lot. And sometimes when I wheeze, I get a little deterred because I can't work out, I can't breathe at night, I feel like I'm gonna die. And so like 6 months ago, I was on a journey. It was right after Ironman training. Throughout my training, I was getting hit with like some asthma attacks and stuff like that. And I really wanted to kind of control my asthma. Everybody has inhalers and all these other things, but nothing really addressed the core issue of why I had breathing problems and I didn't know what it was. So one night, late night, I was watching YouTube and this fitness dude was talking about using this device for about a year. He was trying to see if he would be able to raise his VO2 max by fixing his breathing and strengthening his breathing muscles, because they claim that a device like this, which is basically a spirometer hooked up to an app, can help strengthen your breathing muscles and become a better athlete, a better singer, all those things. So as he was saying this, it was like checking off little boxes in my head. So I was like, let me just try it. So it was like $300. It's called Airofit. It's a breathing device that measures basically how much you're breathing, inhaling and exhaling through the device. And the app allows you to be able to track things, and the app gives you workouts every day based on whatever discipline you want to get good at. So there's running, there's swimming, there's singing, there's triathlon, there's yoga, everything. And I thought that was a really great way of being compliant to a workout, plus not spending a lot of time thinking about what you have to do. So every morning I'd get up 6 o'clock in the morning, I would do my breathing exercises while my coffee's warming up, and it would be like 10 minutes, sometimes 15. But as you progress through the workouts get really hard. Certain mornings I was actually a little nervous getting into the workouts because they were not easy, but the results were staggering. As an athlete, what ends up happening is that breath control becomes a thing, right? So if you're a swimmer and you're swimming in the water, you need to be able to control your breath, and you need to be able to exhale and inhale properly and control that so you don't become winded. And this is exactly what this device teaches you to do, because it actually helps you strengthen all your inspiratory and expiratory muscles that control your breathing, your diaphragm. It's like lifting weights for your lungs. The first week I used this device, I had an issue with swimming, not a major issue, but I could not flip turn. I could do a flip turn in the water and swim, but I would get winded after 2 laps. And that would destroy my swimming. And I always felt like, wow, I've been swimming for a few years now, I should be able to do a flip turn, but I can't. After 1 week of using this device, I was a flip turn guru. I literally have not gone back to not doing flip turns in the pool. I would swim to one end, I do my flip turn, swim to the other end, do another flip turn, and everything just was like, oh my God, I could breathe. To the point where some lady actually turned around and goes, wow, you swim just like Michael Phelps. And I was like, that's amazing, because I don't swim like Michael Phelps, but for you to recognize that in me is highly appreciated. Breath control is super important if you're a runner or a swimmer or an athlete, or if you are like me and you suffer from asthma, right? Strengthening your lung muscles will help you breathe better. This in conjunction with nasal breathing, right? So as soon as I started doing this, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start going for walks and runs just breathing through my nose. And I found that as I strengthened my muscles with this device, my nasal breathing got stronger and I was able to run farther and longer as well too. This year is a year where I decided I'm not gonna train hard for races. I'm gonna spend more time working on my YouTube channel, working on my business and all these other things. And I'm gonna still train, but I'm not gonna train hard and heavy for races. Of course, me being the crazy person that I am, I signed up for a race. For 2 years, I've been trying to hit a personal best record in my half marathon. I just never made that PR mark no matter how hard I trained for it. And I couldn't figure out why. What ended up happening was I ran that race and I did PR. I had an amazing race. And I wasn't even that winded while I was doing the race. While you're racing, maybe the first half, you can breathe through your nose and you'll be fine. But as you start picking up the pace and getting towards the end of the race, you start having to breathe harder and stuff like that. And the nostril breathing is done. You're not gonna be able to breathe through your nose. You're gonna start picking up the pace and everything's gonna get hard and heavy. Throughout this entire race, it was all nostril breathing the entire race. I felt comfortable. I didn't get sore. It was raining, it was a miserable race, but I was flying and I had no problem doing it. And I'm not saying that this device was the thing that actually made me get my PR, but it really, really helped. And I'll tell you why. Because generally when you're training for these races, you're running 6 days a week, but I was only running 4. So it wasn't just the athleticism side or trying to be fit or anything like that. Part of what I love to do and something that I've been working on is singing, right? I want to be able to belt out notes and be able to hit notes while I'm singing and, you know, doing my music production. A side effect of this, and I really kind of noticed this like singing along to songs while I was like cleaning the house or driving in the car or something like that. All of a sudden I was singing along to some of my favorite artists, and I have a pretty good ear, and I was noticing that I was actually hitting the notes and harmonizing like perfectly with people on the radio that I was just listening to, or I was holding out notes that I normally couldn't hold, or even better, I was hitting high notes that I can never hit. And in my prior life when I was in bands and stuff like that, like I would be singing along, but I would never be able to hold a note out. A lot of times people would be like, we see you moving your mouth, but we don't even hear you singing. So for me to be able to hold a note out for like 10 seconds was like a milestone. And just the other day, just messing around behind the desk, I held a note out for like 45 seconds. And I was like, that's wild. I feel like I could probably hold a note out for about a minute. That's like opera singer status. Come on, Ali, 1 minute. 1 minute, you fuckers. 1 minute. It's good for like the first 30 seconds, but that last push is always like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Fuck! 58 seconds wasn't bad, right? As a person that suffers from asthma, I'm not trying to make any medical claims here, but I can say one really important thing, N=1 study. Ever since I've used this device, I've found that my breathing has gotten a lot stronger, right? So I feel like I could take deeper breaths. Most of the time, I like to breathe through my nose, and I've actually taken the practice of breathing through my nose more than breathing through my mouth. I'm conscious of it. So when I'm walking, when I'm sitting at my desk, I try to breathe through my nose and out my mouth. When I run, especially, I've noticed that like when I'm breathing through my nose, I've got my little Garmin here. My heart rate is always lower as I'm breathing through my nose. I say this mostly because I'm in a community of athletes, so I really want to share this with people that actually do things like triathlons or swimming or running or biking or anything like that. I think there's an edge in strengthening your muscles in your lungs when you're also strengthening your leg muscles and your arm muscle or any of your other core muscles that you use for working out. A device like this, I think, has a lot of potential for many different types of people, right? I like to run and swim and do triathlons and sing, so it really works well with the things that I like to do that are fun. But moreover, it really is about wellness, right? We spend a lot of time working on our muscles, and we were eating foods that make us healthy, all these things, but we never really consider the one thing that we do 24/7, and that's breathing. I would say consider your breathing practice beyond anything else and see if it will change how you feel day to day.